We encourage you all to participate actively. Please use the chat feature to submit your questions at any time during the presentation by the speaker. We'll address as many as we can during the Q&A session at the end. If you have any technical issues, feel free to use the chat function and our support team will assist you promptly. The emoji features and the raise hand features are also available for use, but I want to implore you all to kindly reserve raising hands till the end of the session and prioritize using the chat function. Now, I would like to introduce Ms. Kikelomo, the CEO of She Foundry, to just give us a brief overview of She Foundry, the mission, what the organization is about.
Thank you so much, India. Thank you so much, facilitator. My name is Kikelomo Oyali, the CEO and founder of She Foundry. Good evening, everyone. How are you all doing? I hope you are not all too stressed out from today's hustle and bustle, especially Lagos people. I hope the traffic is not so hectic. So today we are all gathered here to witness the inaugural 360-degree Women Founder webinar, which we have specifically tailored towards the women founders and entrepreneurs in our community. One important lesson we got from our very first board meeting in January was to cater for the social and emotional aspects of being an entrepreneur and a founder. This would definitely have a ripple effect on other aspects of our members' business journey. And yes, this is the exact reason why we are all gathered here today. Special shout out to Gimbia Egba, our program coordinator. She has really done well. Special shout out to the team as well, the program coordination team, and everyone who has made this possible today. I'm looking forward to many more of this. Now, a little background on She Foundry and why we have dedicated members to the cause we're driving. She Foundry Limited is a gender lens organization dedicated to closing the gender gap in the tech and funding ecosystem. We are currently curating different products and programs to help us collectively achieve our aim as an organization. And we have the She Foundry Hub being developed currently by the tech team. And the aim of the She Foundry Hub is to connect women founders with investors with the help of an AI that would assess our women founders' creditworthiness and also connect them with investors with theses that match their specific market segment as well as their industry. We also have the Yesterday Finance that would be dedicated to the growth of small, medium enterprises with a gender lens focus, and our program aimed at launching this product would be organized in Q4. It is with great delight I welcome each and every one of you here today. Thank you so much, Ms. Etsy Mure Glover. I hope I pronounced that rightly, for accepting our invitation to enlighten us on balancing corporate work and entrepreneurship, enlightening our members as well on the same topic. I look forward to gaining more insights on today's conversation. And yes, I'd like to yield the floor back to our moderator as well as our program coordinator, India Eba. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Kikelomo. That was very beautifully put. Thank you for the ban you've given us. It is my pleasure now to introduce our distinguished speaker for today, Ms. Etemore Glover. She'll be sharing insights on how best to balance our corporate work with entrepreneurship. She'll be sharing tips on time management and prioritizing and so on. So without further ado, let's begin our webinar. Ms. Etemore Glover, thank you for honoring us. The floor is yours.
ladies and ladies. Do we have any gentlemen in the house? I think am seeing Dolapo. Is Dolapo a girl's name or a guy's name? Okay, we have some gentlemen in the house. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to share my thoughts with you on a few things that this organization gave to me to speak to. And these are some things, I personally try as much as possible to emulate. So I'll share with you my thinking, but it's going to be very interactive. Thank you again to the convener of this great organization and this event. My name is Etemere Glover. I'm the CEO of the Impact Investors Foundation. I'm also a UNDP consultant for SDG Impact Standards. I've been working for over 20 years now in various industries, from finance, banking, both corporate banking, investment banking, retail banking, and I forayed into the public sector in the United Kingdom, came back to Nigeria, and decided to go into development. I've been working in the development space. I'm also an entrepreneur. I would say serial entrepreneur, and currently working in the nonprofit and running the Impact Investors Foundation. So I'll share most of my ideas about balancing corporate life as well as entrepreneurship, some strategies I designed to help myself. And hopefully we hear some of these things from yourself too, because I will say that my experience was not unique to me alone. I believe, I'm sure I'm able to get some learnings too from some of you who also have some level of experience in how are you dealing with stress? How are you balancing work and personal life? So it's going to be very practical. So the topic which I was given today was about balancing corporate work and entrepreneurship. And by defining corporate work, that is engagements, that you are being employed to do by a company or an organization. On the other hand, entrepreneurship are values that you create for clients, customers, either services or products. You run that as your own business. It is even enough for one person, to focus on one, maybe your corporate 9-to-5 job. It has its own upside. It also has its downside. But talk about combining two of them together can be a lot. So both have their cons and their pros when you look at balancing both of them or working individually. So what are some benefits? If you're working on the corporate, it goes without saying, but if you're balancing two of them together, well, multiple streams of income. You might find, yourself having, that satisfaction when you see something you create gaining traction, impacting the life of people. So you get satisfaction from carrying out a certain kind of business. And sometimes if you're on the right kind of job, or you like your job, you will really feel satisfied running that job. But if you do not like your job, you might be far from being satisfied with going to work every morning. It can be quite a chore. And then if you are in a place where you are given the opportunity to grow, there's so much opportunity for you to grow as a person and also in your career. These are some, benefits that you get working in a corporate environment, which is structured, or putting together for yourself some structure around scaling your business. Going to the next point now, still on challenges in balancing corporate work and, created Meta from Facebook. How are people managing and using time more effectively? Does anyone have a strategy of managing their time? Has anybody kind of overcome, struggling with time? Feels like a rat race, always trying to chase up. 24 hours is not enough. Has anybody been able to overcome it? Let's hear from anyone. Givia, have you?
Still a struggle, still a work in progress.
Still a work in progress. Tochukwu? I'll just call your name. Let's talk. Let's have a nice conversation. I don't want to be the only one speaking here. Are you struggling with finishing your task?
I'm struggling, actually struggling.
Dolapo,
Still struggling with managing.
okay, I'm hearing people still struggling. All right, so today we're going to see some hacks in managing your time, right? Let's go. And the thing is, if we're able to apply some of these hacks I'm going to give today, I use them personally for myself, we're going to escape the burnout. How many of you have experienced the burnout before? Who knows what a burnout is? Deborah. Yes. Tochukwu. Deborah, tell me your experience when you had a burnout. What was it? How did you feel?
I'm very tired, so I didn't even want to participate in anything. So even everything that I had going on at that time, I just felt like, I just wanted to put everything on hold, right? So I didn't even have I was not motivated to complete tasks or even show up. I was just really tired, right? It's like a very non-productive time where you just want to be by yourself. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my own experience in burnout was I love what I do, by the way, and I know that several of you business owners, founders, when you become so passionate about your work, you tend to just go at it. You don't pause. During your holidays, you work. That is if you have any holidays at all. So for 10 years, I've been working, changed jobs, never really went on a proper holiday. And July 8th and 9th of 2021, I know specifically when I had the burnout. It hasn't been the same since then. I had to establish some boundaries, and these are some tips which I did to help myself from experiencing burnout. Burnout is real. Is like Deborah has described, it's a situation whereby you lose interest in anything, almost everything. You don't feel like waking up. You lose energy. And then you have this important task to do. You have your job to do. You have, timelines. You lose every sense of energy to do that. And it's something as founders and business people you want to avoid doing. So here are some strategies to help us balance our corporate work and entrepreneurship. Set boundaries. And I'll give you tips on how I set my boundaries, maximize your time, and find a support system. So time management, building a support system, self-care and stress management, setting boundaries and goal setting are some of the strategies we'll look at. One of the things I do when I wake up in the morning is to draw up a list, your to-do list, very simple. And then I use a matrix. We'll look at that matrix today to identify what is urgent and what I need to do within a set period of time that will not get me, in quotes, fired. Others that are not too urgent but important, I put them in a different matrix, and others that I categorize that can be delegated to my colleagues or my subordinates, I identify those works and I give them out to my priority. That's in time management, prioritizing your task, creating a schedule, and time optimization are some of the things we'll look at in time management. So why is it important to prioritize our work? Tasks are key to enabling you achieve your goal as a business, but not all tasks have the same urgency and priority. The Eisenhower matrix, I'm sure many of you have seen the Eisenhower matrix, is a 4 matrix that shows important and urgent, important and not so urgent, not important, at all, and urgent but not so important. You want to use the Eisenhower matrix to put your task to show you must carry those tasks out. I know some of us as founders also we struggle in terms of delegating tasks to our subordinates. I was in that box when I first started out my career. I struggled to delegate. But as founders and leaders, we must build a team of people that we will be confident enough to hand over some task for them to do, and then you coach them and support them through. Otherwise, you will burn out and you would not have a balanced life or schedule. Another thing too we can do is to block a series of time. So you can block out 2 hours. Usually my most productive time for work is mid-morning, 11 to 2. I block out that time to carry out some very important work. I try as much as possible not to schedule meetings at those times, right? But if I have to, I will. Otherwise, my preference is to have meetings early mornings or late afternoons, then concentrate within the hours of where my productivity is highest. I'm not a morning person, by the way, just to add. So I concentrate more from mid-morning, 9 o'clock to 12, 9 o'clock to 2. There's the Pomodoro technique, which I also use. I schedule bits of time, particularly when I'm burnt out and I really do not have any, zeal to work. So I bribe myself and I tell myself, look, if you can get 1, 2, 3 tasks done in 25 minutes or in 2 hours, you have yourself a glass of wine. So I put a glass of wine somewhere. I put something I like, or maybe ice cream, something nice. See, if you finish this task, reward yourself by watching one movie on Netflix. And because I want to do that, I will rush. And if I do not reward myself. So we need to devise something that works for us. What do you like doing? So choose what you like doing, schedule time, motivate yourself. So these are some motivating hacks that I do. Secondly, in terms of balancing your work and life, how many of us are married? How many of us are married? Children? Great. So you want to see yourself as the center, a mother, a wife, a worker, an employee, a daughter, a sister, and we're spread so thin out in different places, and it's just one you. Sometimes we do not find out how can I effectively connect the dots with all of these resources that I have. I look at people as resources. I look at my family as resources. I look at my colleagues as resources. I look at other people who are potentially, going to come into my life as a resource that I can leverage to be more effective with my work. So we need to devise a way of building support system in 2 areas of our lives. 1, our career and professional life. 2, our personal life. And our personal life, I will tell you, personal life at 3 levels. For your career, it's important that you create or you identify people of like minds. What did I say? People of like minds that you want to connect with. You want to do that professionally through your professional or industry association, your alumni association, your tribes. You create a tribe, a network. So as business people, as founders, we must strategically, the word there is strategically, the home front and the church front. Some of my best relationships in life have come from my friends, particularly my alumni at secondary school and university. After I finished my time in United Kingdom, coming to Nigeria, it was a friend of mine. We went to the same, we worked together, and we're from the same tribe. It was through her support I got my first job back in Nigeria. My religious group had played a very important role, particularly times that I was not mentally capable to handle a lot of personal issues prayers and support networks. So it's important that we look for ways in which we plug into support system. And finally, too, sometimes we become very busy. I know there's a saying that goes like this, that it takes a village to bring up children, right? It takes a village to provide you with the kind of support to be effective in your personal and business life. How are you identifying the right village to support you? So be intentional about it. No man is an island, and let's not get deceived living in a cosmopolitan world like Lagos, where everybody just minds their business. Build a village around yourself so you can be effective, so you can concentrate in doing something per time while the home front is being taken care of by either your mom, your sister, your family, or your friend. So, there's several techniques of networking and collaborating. It's important that you identify which technique is important for you, or which technique that you can use effectively to connect with people. You can do that by attending conferences, joining online community, And how many of you have a personal brand? How many of you have intentionally built a personal brand? Who's done that? I would recommend that. Yes, Yetunde. Great. How have you built your personal brand? What have you done differently to build your personal brand? Yetunde, share that with us. It's very important in networking and collaborating, because some people may not want to be associated with you should they perceive a wrong brand. Yetunde, are you there? Do you want to share? Okay, hold your thoughts. I'll come back to you, because while you're trying to collaborate, do not collaborate with everyone. Please, I'll say that. Watch out for who you collaborate, because you can send a wrong signal to your customers or your other stakeholders. We've talked about mentorship and coaching, so I wouldn't dwell too much on this. And finally, in terms of balancing your corporate and personal life, mental health issues are real. We need to look at self-care habits and stress management technique. How many people have a way of managing their stress? And how many of us do that intentionally? Okay, Yetunde, thank you very much for letting us know you're in transit. Kimberly, do you have self-care habits? How do you manage your stress? How do you take care of you, your core?
Taking walks helps me clear my head, connect with nature. Like they say, go outside and touch grass. Sometimes you just need to unplug. So I'll say taking walks, nature, surrounding myself with nature, that helps me. Maybe facials, that's something simple, doesn't have to be something fancy or having to book a spa session. That's something you can do at home to relax. Exercise too. I recently started doing yoga, something I thought I would never. What is that? But I find it very relaxing too.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. My own self-care, I try as much as possible. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. My personal life, I realized that if I do not build in care into my weekly routine, I come out burnt by Monday morning. So things like, watching a movie, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 hour in a week helps me to relax. Going for facials or even listening to music. And meditation. Meditation is also so beautiful. I love meditation. It helps me clear my mind. Another self-care habit, or another thing too we can look at, is stress management techniques. There are 3 here I've put that really helps me. Breathing deeply. So maybe your boss comes into the office and screams at you, or an angry customer, comes in and challenges you, and you feel so, worked up, and you feel stressed. count to 10. Breathe in, breathe out. And then there's the art of mindfulness. I practice the art of mindfulness, being present at the moment, stopping, seeing what is around you, focusing on the present. And then yoga. Yoga helps you in mindfulness, makes you aware of those little things that ordinarily you will not see because you are running from pillar to post, trying to balance family and every other activities that are being thrown at you. Then effective management of time. And this is where I was going to give you some hack that I do. I divide my time in a day. We have 24 hours, right? Everybody say that 24 hours is not enough for you. But if you divide 24 hours into chunks of 3, right? And tell yourself, within this time to this time, these are the activities I'm going to do. So I divide my time into 3, 8 hours. So my time from 8 hours starts at 8 o'clock in the morning till 2. I concentrate on work. Then from 3 o'clock to the other 8 hours, which is around 8 o'clock in the evening, I try as much as possible to do every other activity. News time, I watch news, try to be abreast with what is going on, family time, and then there's sleeping time. Sorry, from 3 to 11, then 11 to the 8 in the till 6 in the morning is the other time I use for rest. You divide that time into 3, and then tell yourself, within this time, I will do these activities. We are trying to set boundaries for ourselves that we must not break. During the COVID-19 pandemic, how many of you were working throughout? You didn't have the time that you stopped. You worked from 8 in the morning till 11 at night. I was guilty. I did that. I learned that it was not sustainable. Ladies and gentlemen, working like that is not sustainable. We need to pause and be intentional about creating boundaries and segmenting time for work, segmenting time for family, and segmenting time for rest. We must have our rest. So we've talked about setting boundaries. I've given you hacks for setting boundaries, dividing your time into 3. Time for work, family and television time, and time for rest. And effective work-life integration is effectively setting these boundaries, ensuring that you have time to take care of yourself, to do the little things like going to the beach with your family, like reading a book, sleeping maybe an extra hour during the weekend, just to get yourself refreshed, and prioritizing self-care and your mental health. Here are some other hacks that you can take in terms of setting boundaries so that you will avoid the burnout like we've talked about earlier on. Scheduling that time, self-care time, even on your phones, right? I do that. I put on my phone a time I need to rest, a time I need to sleep, a time I need to meditate, or appointments to go and do a facial. I do that. And then I plug from work. If you have your phones, please make sure that you have one for work and one for your personal life, so that after work hours, please switch off your work phone and do not entertain it. It's so important. Please, let's find time to enjoy life. Life was given to us by God for enjoyment and not for all of these activities. Finally, let's set goals. How many of you know the acronym SMART? What does SMART stand for? Kike.
Yes, thank you. So SMART means specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound.
Thank you. SMART. Great. Sometimes we want... Thank you. Over to you, Gimbia.
Thank you so much for this wonderful knowledge sharing session. The nuggets, as you put them, these are really giant pieces of information that can go a long way in helping us. I'll open the floor up for questions now. We can use the chat features, or we can just raise our hands and I'll call on you if you have any questions to ask. While we're waiting for questions to come in, I want to ask just a little one, Miss Glover. I would say, what are some common mistakes to avoid when balancing a corporate career and entrepreneurial endeavors? In your experience, from your experience, what would you say are some common mistakes people make so that we can avoid?
Thank you very much. I think I will speak first, thinking that you can do everything. You can't do everything. You can't do everything. Secondly, I think sometimes we do not leverage resources that we have in terms of, your family, your friend, your network. I fail to leverage all of those resources. These are resources that sometimes I would say God. I said it's important that we leverage our network and not, keep the network for only when we think we want to make money. But how about identify people in a network to support us through our career, to support us with raising our children, to support us when we're not in town or we're not able, to be effective at home. And that network is both internal, family, friends, sisters, brother, even your mom. There's a story that Mrs. Awoshika always gives, which I always make reference to, when she was raising her children, being an executive herself, working in First Bank as a chair and all of that stuff. She had children to raise. What did she do? She created a network around her. She brought her mother-in-law to the house. Very resourceful thing to do to support her while she was traveling. The children were being taken care of. So we need to design what works for us. And sometimes we leave this to the hands of maybe carers who may not be effective, like our family and friends, relative will be in terms of bringing those on up. Not that we are giving that responsibility out, but when it's necessary at that point in time, for a short period of time, that our efforts may not be able to to take care of them, then we just have people to come in to provide us that support. That was one area that I was lacking before in the past, and I was not effective in doing that. But I was able to identify who do I work with for a month, for 2 months, when I need to effectively do something. So that's how I become more effective in getting support. And finally, in delegating tasks, I learned to trust people better. First, I coach, show them the rope, trust them by giving them tasks to do, watch them do the task, and then give my feedback, step back and be more of a coach and a leader than, somebody who micromanage. One of the things that we do wrong is micromanaging. How do we stop micromanaging and empower our people to support us to be more effective as leaders?
Thank you so much for that. Such wisdom, and experience. I want to ask, how do you make decisions when you have a conflict between your let's say your corporate responsibilities or your family responsibilities and your entrepreneurial or personal goals? Like, how do you come to such decisions? What tips?
I think the call is about to end. When we come back, we can look at it.
Yes. Let's just log out and then log in immediately. So feel free to leave the call, everyone, and then we'll just log back in. Venture and your corporate work or your personal life, there's a conflict at this point. It's not.
I think there's no hard and fast rule to it. There's no rule of thumb in making this kind of decision. The first thing you want to do is the opportunity cost. I'm an economist, so we talk about the opportunity cost, which is the foregone alternative, to whatever, decision or that you might want to make at that point in time. So for me is to sit down and be rational about the choice I'm going to go with at the end of the day. What impact is it going to make, to me? Right? What are the benefits? So you weigh it, your pros and your con. And if the benefit outweighs, the negative in other aspects of my personal or, work life or business, I will go for the best one, right? Sometimes it's not even financial, benefits that you will derive from it. There are other costs, costs of, like family cost to your family, right? If you're going to carry out a particular activity that is going to be detrimental to your family, no matter the benefit that will accrue to it, something you will not want to make. It's a choice you will not want to make. Let me give you an instance. You have a fantastic offer, right? A job that maybe $200,000 annually, and it is in Hague or somewhere you know that you can't take your family along with you, and you do decide to go. The cost that for your family is that, okay, you're going to get monetary benefits as a result of income that will come from that job, but it might come at a loss in one way or the other to your children, to your family, to the bond. It can come at a cost of you not being present to participate in the development of your children. You want to just ask yourself, balance it at that point in time. If I'm going to take that decision, for how long can I sacrifice, my time away from my family? So it's something that, like I said, there's no hard and fast rule to it. It's just for you to sit down, identify the cost, the benefit, and then make the decision that is best for you. I've made some of those decisions, in my own personal life. Cost of going to school in the UK, I had to leave my, family. I had to leave, my relative, and ventured into somewhere that I will be all alone. Of course, it was a daunting period for me at that time, but I gave it 7 years of my life. I came back better, and that has positioned me, to earn more than I was like 7 years ago. So these are decisions, there's so many other decisions like that. I have choices I had to make. Should I work or should I remain in business? So those choices will always face you, but you have to be rational and take the decision as they come that is best, for you and your immediate family and stakeholders that will benefit as a result of that decision.
Thank you so much for that. I like how you put it. There's no hard or fast rule. You just incorporate work with entrepreneurship. You mentioned time blocking as a tool, a very important tip. You said the Pomodoro technique as well. I like the reward technique, ice cream or glass of wine, as long as you finish a particular task. Anyway, so there's boundaries. You mentioned setting boundaries, healthy boundaries, scheduling too. We need to know how to integrate our work and our personal lives in a way that neither suffers. You mentioned building a support system around us and leveraging on that support system. So it's not just to have it in place, but to actually utilize it. You mentioned networking and collaboration, mentorship and coaching, and to see people as resources wherever. It could be in from family, it could be friends, it could be religious gatherings, from churches, from clubs, societies, but we should know that everybody is a resource, and is to know how that person or those people can actually come in to help us in one aspect of our lives or the other, whether corporate, whether personal. That's a very key takeaway for me. It's not all smiles and we go away. Like, how can we benefit and help each other? You mentioned self-care, stress management. You gave some examples of techniques like deep breathing, practicing mindfulness, yoga, meditation. So I'm sure we've all gotten one or two things that we can try out on our own so we don't burn out. And goal setting strategies. You mentioned SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound, and also micro goals. And thank you very much. This is really, really good. I have my notes. Maybe I'll be charging for these notes. This is really good, and we're very much honored to have you share from your experiences, share your wisdom with us. I'm sure the community will benefit or have benefited a great deal from this. So thank you very much, Ms. Etemore Glover. I want to yield the floor at this juncture to Ms. Kike Lomo to give us, just tell us a bit about further opportunities, further engagement with She Foundry, and her closing remarks. She'll let us know also about our next program, our next webinar, when it's coming up, what it will be about for the community members to take note of. So over to you, Ms. Kike Lomo.
Thank you so much, our moderator and our very effective and efficient program coordinator. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this session. Thank you so much, our facilitator. Thank you so much, Madam Etemore Glover, for this informative and engaging session. And on behalf of the whole team at She Foundry Limited, we appreciate you for your time, for your invaluable time at that. Thank you so much. And I am sure our founders have gained immense value from this session, and they can now manage their time efficiently and also balance corporate work and their entrepreneurial endeavors. I can remember that one of our team members reached out to me and she was like, Madam CEO, I'm exhausted. There's just a lot going on because we mostly have volunteers in the organization, and then we also have the 9 to 5 we all do. And then I can remember that I promised I would get on a call with her. She's currently on this call actually, but I wouldn't call her name. So I'm sure that she has benefited greatly from this class. Thank you so much, ma'am. And it is an honor to have you today, and we do not take it for granted. Also, our able moderator, thank you so much. I can remember when you joined in, and then the operations manager called me and said, hey, where did you meet Divya? Where did you see her? I was like, okay. This is a very good one, and you've never disappointed us at She Foundry. For that, I say thank you. And to all our founders present here today, I thank you for your time. I hope you've learned a great deal, and I hope you'll be joining us for the next session, same time, and then same period next month. We would share the information with you via email. For the women founders that meet us, I'm sure you've joined our community. If you haven't, please do follow us on all social media, and you would find access to our community on our Instagram page, She Foundry. Thank you so much, everyone. And yes, I give the floor to you, Kimbia.
All right, there we have it, beautifully put by Ms. Owoyale. Thank you so much. I'd say we've come to the close of our webinar on balancing corporate work and entrepreneurship. We did it. We did it. I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to each of you for your participation and your engagement today. First and foremost, I want to express our heartfelt gratitude to our able speaker, Ms. Etemore Glover, for her insightful and inspiring presentation. Your experiences and your practical advice have provided us with valuable perspectives on how to navigate and succeed both in corporate, in family, personal, and entrepreneurial spheres. So thank you so much for sharing your journey with us and for being such a motivating force. Thank you. So thank you everyone again for joining us. We look forward to seeing you at our future webinars. By 11th of August next month, we'll have another one on building meaningful connections, building healthy relationships, keys to meaningful connections. Yes, we'll send all the details to you all before then. So thank you once again, and the meeting is closed. Feel free to step back and network.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Temore. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.